Hello beautiful people, my name is Amanda Zitto. If you are new here, I make motorcycle travel vlogs, I make how-tos, and general encouragement for you to get out and do the thing. Alright, you guys asked for this. One of the most repeated questions in my comments lately is, what is that helmet? Is that the Scorpion AT950? What do you think of it? And the most recent one is from the last video from Vida to Haiku. Is your helmet a Scorpion EXO-AT950? I'm thinking of getting one of those. Would you care to share a review of it? I'd find it very helpful. So I'm here, I'm doing the thing. As always, I want to make a note that I don't do technical reviews. All of this is purely my opinion, so take everything with a grain of salt. That said, here are my thoughts of the Scorpion EXO-AT950 after 2 years of use. So I don't have a whole lot of other helmets to compare this to. This is my first ADV style helmet with the visor and everything. Before this helmet, I had the Icon Airframe Pro, which is almost a whole pound lighter than this helmet. The AT950 is about 4 pounds, which does make it a little bit heavy. However, it is also a modular helmet under $300. Actually, anywhere from $200 to $290, depending on the version that you get. To be completely transparent, I did buy this helmet while I was working at a motorcycle dealership, so I did get a pretty significant discount on it, which is also the reason that I have the full Scorpion Yosemite suit. As of making this video, I am not sponsored by Scorpion. I am not a brand ambassador for them. They don't even know that I'm making this review of their helmet. However, I have been trying to get their attention. So if you want to send this video to them, that'd be cool. Anyway, I've definitely become accustomed to the way it doesn't really become bothersome or noticeable to me until after a solid 6 hours of riding. I tend to take my helmet off during breaks, so it's more like pacing myself, so I'm never getting to the point where I'm starting to feel neck pain from the weight. I am a big fan of the modular design. It means if I stop at a gas station, I can lift the lid. It makes it so that I can more easily talk to gas attendants. It means that I can eat a snack really quick before I have to hit the road again without the extra time of having to take my helmet off and put it back on. I will say after 2 years of ownership, the points where the modular lid meets the metal of the rest of the helmet has become a little bit harder to engage. So it takes just a little bit extra oomph to get the lid closed. Otherwise you have to hold the mechanism open for it to go into place. Not a big deal, but after a really long day, if you're tired or frustrated, it can be a little bit of annoying to have to take an extra step to make sure that it's actually closed and not just sitting there. After owning the modular for so long, it would be really hard for me to go back to a solid full face helmet. A note though, on safety rating, it is only DOT rated, which means it doesn't have a SNEL or an ECE rating, which means like any other modular helmet out there, the weak point is going to be the chin bar, especially if you hit the pavement with your face straight on. I've also never had a visor before. That is definitely something that would be very hard to give up. Even pounding slab, the ability just to dip your head a little bit to block the sun out of your eyes is priceless and so much better than sunglasses in my opinion. The visor can be a bit of a wind sail, but only when the wind is really bad. I mean like worse than going down the Columbia Gorge bad. Even when I'm going down the highway at 70, I really don't notice the pull anymore. I mean, I'm absolutely sure that it's there. I've just been wearing it for so long, I don't even notice anymore. However, if that is something that worries you, you can absolutely remove the helmet for highway riding by these little pins here. And that's something else that I really like about this helmet is that the pins you can remove like with a quarter or something. You don't have to have a special tool to remove the visor. Speaking of sunglasses, something that I didn't think that I would care all that much about is the drop down sunshade. I have never been somebody who carries sunglasses when I ride. I don't like the pressure that the arms put on my head inside my helmet. We did a lot of desert riding last year and the sunshade was a lifesaver. Something that I will note, however, is that the sunshade lives in the same pocket that this vent airs to. So the sunshade can gather a lot of dust that can be kind of a pain in the butt to clean. Especially if you're riding off-road a lot, the sunshade is pretty much guaranteed to gather dust. It's super easy to activate when you're going down the road. This button is very easy to push when you have gloves on. Other positives, it does have cutouts for speakers inside the helmet, so when you install a Bluetooth communication device, the speakers are not pressing on your head and creating pressure headaches. I had that problem with the Icon. The Scorpion does fit my round head a lot better than the Icon did. The Icon is really only meant for people with oval-shaped heads, and I used to get a lot of pressure headaches from the Icon just from riding for 3 to 4 hours, like right here, and then like the sides of my head. Yeah, I don't know why I rode with that helmet for a solid year. 2 years. I rode with that helmet for 2 years. I'm a masochist. I don't know. It was also nice to upgrade to a helmet with a much wider eye port. Last but not least, something that a lot of other people bring up when they talk about this helmet specifically is that it is loud. I mostly attribute most of that wind noise to the visor catching wind and funneling it straight into the vents for the helmet. It also means that it can be kind of hard to hear what's going on in my speakers when I'm going over 60 because of the wind noise, and wind noise fatigue is a real thing. Earplugs are definitely vital for trips longer than 5 hours. I will say that I can listen to my music just fine on the highway, but I definitely can't listen to audiobooks or podcasts or anything like that without having to put in in-ear headphones. I would also rate the airflow about 50-50. It is not the coolest helmet that I've ever had, but it also means that it's a fantastic 3-season helmet because there aren't so many vents that you can't close in the wintertime to keep the cold air out. Most of the vents on the helmet you can close from the outside. The only vent that you can't close is on the back of the helmet, which is more of an exhaust vent than an intake vent. But the way that they made the liner for the inside of the helmet means that a lot of that airflow that does come from the top is getting to your scalp, which is nice in the summertime. All right, in review, let's start with the pros. It's modular, the sunshade is awesome, it does have cutout for speakers, the visor is easily removed, a wide eye port and a relatively small chin bar so you can see way more. And I think something else to note is just the amount of features that you're getting with the helmet for the amount of money that you're spending. Cons. Weight. It's still a relatively heavy helmet. The safety rating is just DOT, which you could argue isn't really the fault of this helmet. I knew that going into it, but it's just something that I keep thinking about. The sunshade gathers dust pretty much constantly, and I wish there was like some kind of pocket for that sunshade to go into that wasn't also exposed to the vents in the helmet so that maybe dust wouldn't gather quite so quickly. Last but not least is that it is loud. Like really loud. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little review of the Scorpion EXO-AT950 and my experiences with it. If there's something that I missed in this review or if you still have questions, please leave those down in the comments below. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button, and if you enjoy this kind of content and would like to support this channel for as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to videos like these over on my Patreon. We have a little Magpie Parliament family going on. Links to that is down in the description. There are other ways for you to support me down in the description. If you can't do any of those right now, that is absolutely okay. I appreciate you guys just for watching these videos every week. And in the meantime, guys, I will see you later. Okay, question for the end screen crew. What is your favorite helmet that you have ever owned? You don't have to own it right now, but that you have ever owned. See you later.